Hello, baby besties! We hope you guys enjoyed the first episode of this year's Cupid Corner. And now we are back for the second episode. Ready your heart and grab your tissues as we tackle yet again another heartbreaking story. But before anything else, I would like to introduce myself. Hi, my name is 𝘤𝘪𝘥𝘠𝘪𝘵, the head administrator, and I will be hosting this episode. I know that this is my first time hosting, but I hope that you guys will take this episode by heart. Without further ado, here's the second episode. I didn't know what a situationship was until I was in one. I did not realize there was a term for the space between a committed relationship and something that is more than a friendship. He was kind and sweet, and my favorite conversation with him was when we opened up to each other more. He talked about his family, I talked about mine. I talked about my hopes and goals in life, and he shared about his dreams for the future. We're both somewhat recent graduates in our first ever jobs, and during days where I felt like I've had a long day at work, his encouraging words felt like a gentle kiss on my forehead. However, I guess he did not like me that much and we are no longer in speaking terms. Initially, I thought it was my fault. Maybe I read what was happening between us, or maybe it was too soon to make my feelings clear. What's worse is that he did not even reject me outright. Just a message left unread. Casually cruel. On the bright side, I found two great songs I can jam and relate to. Disaster by Conan Gray and You Just Did Not Like Me That Much by Liana Firestone. In the end, it would be reasonable for me to stay mad or upset with him for ghosting, but like the post I saw recently, don't let anyone rent space in your head unless they are a good tenant.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
So we have here questions. So the first question is that why would people prefer being in a situationship? Are they afraid of commitment? Oh my gosh. Who can answer this question? Is it gonna be Annika or who? Okay, Rad.
Hello, everyone. So I think your question, Doril, we should first define the words in the question. So just to make our viewers have an idea, no? What is situationship? We should define situationship first. What do you think? Friends in listening. Sino ba? Si Jezreel parang may answer.
ako na naman. Oh my God. Okay. So, a situation, guys, is a new term. Very recent term na siya, which I also recently found out lang. So, a situationship, like what the reader first defined na in the story, it's a term for the space between a committed relationship and something that is more than just a friendship. So it's not friendship, but it's also not a relationship. You know, like, it's somewhere in between. We really don't know what to call it. It could be, it used to be called no label, but we came up with a better term for that. So, ayun, situationship.
That is really the reality, no? There are really people who prefer being in a situationship. But bakit kaya? Well, I guess for me, being in a situationship means there is stability, right? There is no change in the way that you two are interacting with one another. You still stay the same. So there's nothing that would change much that would affect your relationship with that other person. That's why I believe that's how people stay in a situationship. Diba? Because just imagine, no? Let's just say si Jezreel, kasi siya yung sumagot kanina eh. Diba? Si Jezreel, nag-confess siya sa isang lalaki na gusto niya. Tapos si Jezreel, ayaw niyang magkaroon ng sudden change in the attitude, in the way he or she speaks, diba? So for me lang people really prefer to stay in a situationship because they are afraid of change. Yun talaga eh. People are naturally born to be afraid of change, hindi ba? Kaya nga meron ibang tao na sumasabi or nagsasabing get out of your comfort zone. Diba? It's somewhat similar to this, no? Being in a situationship makes you have that sense of stability na walang mangyayari, walang magbabago, ganito lang tayo, at masaya na ako dito. Diba? Something like that. That's why I believe there are some people who really choose to stay in a situationship. As for commitment naman, meron naman iba na afraid of commitment. And there are really others who are not afraid of commitment. Simply because they don't want their efforts to be wasted. Diba? Imagine, meron akong, ichichika ko na lang yung batchmate ko before. So, they were in a 5-year relationship. Starting from grade 8 until grade 12 ba yata? So, they were really together. Like, almost all the time. And they were not afraid to commit naman. But the thing is, when you commit, there's that sense of baka masasayang yung commitment ko. And after that 5 years, they broke up. And they never saw each other again. And that's 5 years of investment. Imagine yung memories nyo sa high school, di ba? Imagine yung memories nyo sa high school. It's always that, uy, kayo pa ba? Can you imagine that? Your entire high school life depends on you being a relationship with someone. And that effort, you will always remember all the things that you did. I think that's why people are afraid of commitment. But there are also some others who are not afraid to show commitment. Kasi when you, personally for me when you love, you shouldn't be afraid to commit. Meron lang talagang iba na they're afraid for their efforts to be wasted. Yun lang.
Oh my gosh. So like, grabe yung kayo ang wisdom ni Rad for us, people, listeners. We're so thankful for Rad and
No
for the
jowa since
others.
birth.
Yeah, team no jowa since birth din me. Anika says here, there are people who will love hard despite the aftermath. Oh.
And you shouldn't think of it as a waste of investment. The past years na you were with that person. It's like a precious memory na lang worth remembering, but it's only going to be a memory. But at least,
I truly agree.
it's a good thing.
You know, they say, this quote, I think it's a saying or a quote, some people is part of your journey, but not the destination. Is it right? Was it right? Yeah, so I think Rad was implying that kind of answer kanina. And it's part of life now, part of your growth. Yeah, I truly believe. Because being with someone is an investment. It is an investment of how you develop yourself as well and how you cultivate yourself and your partner's life as well. So ayun, it's an investment. So walang talo. It's just that nag-part ways lang din mo at the end, and that's so that's so sad. Ayun.
Yeah, and it's like, of course, everybody is destined to do great, diba? We're all destined for something, but there's going to be a journey, a very long journey, and then there's always going to be stops there. There's always going to be people that you will encounter, and if you have a certain need, for example, or if there is something that you have to learn at that particular stage, then they were the ones provided to you, and they were the best people to help you grow at that stage, that would equip you into moving on to the next part of your journey and then reaching towards the end of your journey. So it's really worth the investment, whether it ends good or bad.
Okay, so moving on to our second question. What are the signs that a guy or a girl is genuinely interested in you? That's such an interesting question. So maybe Annika could answer.
Yeah, slay. Having experience being in a relationship, I feel like maybe I could answer this question. And I feel like there are a lot of factors to know if someone is genuinely interested in you. There's like body languages to help you figure out if they like you or not. Like they tilt their head, or they lean your body towards you, or they make eye contact with you and all that stuff. But I feel like one factor to really consider is being consistent. Like they don't just find the time, they make the time. Like they make an effort to converse with you, spend time with you. They try to recall the little things about you, your habits, the things you like and all that. Like being consistent requires a lot of effort. And that takes a lot of energy too. Like what person in the right mind shows a load of energy to someone else and not like them? You're crazy if you do that. Maybe there are crazy people like that. But if someone does that to you, that's when you know that they're interested in you. And I feel like consistency is something a situationship cannot offer. Like situationships, they don't do that. Consistency is something a secured relationship provides. Like genuine interest provides consistency. Genuine interest, like it provides consistency and serenity. Like you feel calm, you feel safe, you feel secured. That's when you know that this guy likes me. You feel what I feel, guys?
Yes, Annika, I truly agree with you.
She's answered
Consistency
the
is
question
key.
there. She understood the
Yeah.
assignment. No,
Very
she felt
slate,
the assignment.
Annika. Maybe Jay could answer.
I wanted to add because I remember like this quote I was reading. I forgot where I saw it. I think it was a post. It's like, how they say that when you like people, or interest or attraction is always a whirlwind romance, but sometimes it can just be a gentle breeze. And that's what sometimes some people could feel like when Annika was talking about consistency. Gentle breeze is like a different thing from a whirlwind. So like, in this feeling of romance, we're like the wind. Love just goes by the wind. What? Nature.
I guess it's so hard to ask for. Just wanted to feel reassured.
Maybe Jess can also add.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we need your opinion.
Why is it
madam.
that if it's situationship, you guys are always looking for me, huh? Anyways, so
All the
yeah,
viewers see this.
I'll just add. What are the signs that a guy or girl is genuinely interested in you? For a girl's point of view, you can tell that the guy is genuinely interested in me. Yeah, like what Annika said, there are certain body languages or things that he does that he doesn't usually do to other girls, but there's an exception when it comes to you, so obviously you can't avoid giving a bit of meaning to that, but there's no guarantee. What could be a possible sign that he's really interested is when he plucks up the courage to tell you so, and also when after he confesses that he does have certain feelings for you, he is also willing to commit into being in a relationship with you. And when you're saying you're genuinely interested in this person, you want to commit to this person, then that's a big commitment. You're only talking, or you're making a promise that you're only going to be committed to this one particular person. You're not going to look for anybody else. You're going to be content with this one person because you feel like the presence of this one person is more than enough to satisfy or to keep you happy, rather than being in the company of like 1,000 or other people out there. So that for me is a possible sign that he's really genuinely interested. Okay, even flirting isn't a genuine sign that he's really interested in you. Diba? It could be like a bit of playtime lang, bit of playing around, you know how we are these days, a bit of playful. But yeah, genuine interest is plucking up his courage to confess and then committing to being in a relationship with you and only you. So that's the conflict in the story. Situationship and relationship. That's it.
Wow, I'm learning a lot from you, Jess, because I've been on that situation as well. Flirting, and you can't really assure if that that person has really feelings for you. But it all boils down that consistency is key. That you can really know that this person has a genuine interest in you. So again, we have wait, cut to siya. So for our number 3 question, how do you get out of a situationship? Since we were talking about situationship earlier, now the question is, how do you get out of a situationship? That's a hard question. Maybe Rad can answer.
Maybe for some, it's hard. Wow! ang lakas ko naman para sabihin nun, di ba? Pero, well, for me, to get out of a situationship, you just need to do one thing. Make a decision. So, when you make a decision kasi, there's that sense of getting out of that comfort zone. Diba? You can either make a decision. First, you pursue that person by leveling up your relationship, which could end up for real na magiging kayo na, or it could also lead to an awkward stage between the two of you. Diba? Or you can also choose to be silent about it. No? Hindi na lang ako magko-confess kasi ayaw kong lumabas ng comfort zone ko. I want to stay in this kind of situationship with that person. Diba? But the thing is, when you do that decision, marami kang what if. You will always think of what could have been if you did this and that. And that's why, for me, making a decision is simple, but committing to your decision is the hard thing. Yun lang.
Oh my God, it speaks volume, like boom, the hardest thing to do is to decide. And then, you just have to navigate your own way on how to really let go of that situationship. So thanks for that, Rad. And Anika has an additional, answer. Go, Anika, take the floor.
Yeah, like Rad, I really like what you said there, and I just want to add na maturity also requires getting out of a situationship, like maturity and self-worth. You feel like kaibaw naman ta na being in a situationship is not, it's not all about reassurance. It's just the chase. It's just the feeling of being wanted, and getting out of it requires maturity. It requires you to feel like, oh yeah, no, I'm not built for this. I'm built for something that provides me that sense of safety and reassurance. Slay. This is such a slay story.
I know, right? So thank you for that, for your wonderful answers, Rad, Anika, and also Jazz. Now, moving on to our final question. Is confession over chat better than confessing personally? Oh my God, this is such a hot question. Because I really know that a lot of person or people now prefers, confessing over chats, like, than confessing personally. Maybe they don't have the courage for it. So maybe Rad can answer that question.
Alam niyo ba that ever since senior high school, ako talaga yung pasimuno, or should I say, I'm the one who makes the couple. Legit to ha, no joke to.
Like the bridge.
Yeah, ako talaga yung bridge. Kasi it's usually best friend ko yung guy or best friend ko yung girl. So I'm always that third guy, you know? Pero I think it really depends on how you two know each other. No? I believe the factor in the pandemic, knowing that we are in a pandemic, really changed us as a social person. Kasi it's really hard. I don't know for you guys, but before it was so easy to confess personally, like face to face, than to do it in chat or Zoom or Google Meet, di ba? Kasi, syempre, kung magko-confess ka, may ano pa yan? May pa-flowers pa yan, may pa-chocolate pa yan. Tapos usually, kung magko-confess ka, di ba? Usually, na-form yan pag, magpa-prom date tayo ha. Tapos may ko-confess, tapos bigay flowers. Ganun kung face-to-face. Ngayon, nandito kasi tayo sa pandemic era where it's so hard to really confess face-to-face due to restrictions. Pero okay na tayo ngayon, di ba? Okay. Parang merong natatawa sa audience. Anyway, but for me lang ha, I think it's really better if you confess face-to-face rather than online. Kasi it makes it more meaningful to the person. But again, what I said earlier, when you make a decision, it's easy. But when you commit to that decision, that's the hardest part. Kaya, deal with it. Yun lang.
Deal with it.
Deal with it. How about you, Jay? What's your take for this question?
On the confession as a whole, I'll accept it because it just shows the person that you're genuinely communicating your feelings out loud, either on chat or personally. And I agree with Rad with like how it feels different talaga if it's in person. But I don't know, maybe it's because I've changed as a person, but like I'm a person who'd like rather go on chat over it. One thing, it's cheaper. It's cheaper to do that. But on a realistic sense, I feel like chat, you have a better chance of like thinking your feelings through and thinking what you want to say to people through. Like I've had stories of people confessing, or maybe I've received I haven't actually. I was like thinking maybe I have received a confession that's like in chat, but as someone who has received personal confessions, but like for me as a person, I've only done it through chat because the people I've liked were all LDR. They were all in other countries. Oh wow, I'm exposing myself right here. Backstory ha, these people, because I kept moving countries growing up, this is why everything is an LDR to me. You could live 5 blocks, you are an LDR to me. Don't say that, I don't have anyone. Anyways, confessing over chat, like it makes, I feel like it could be it's more genuine to me because it's you get to think through your confession before you actually send it. And if you don't want the person to see it, you can just delete it after. So that's mostly the gist of what I think. It's more contrary to what Rad said, but like I really just agree on both. That confessing personally, it has the different butterflies. There's an ambience that you need as a social being. But over chat, it's more logistic and it's more logical to do it in a very strategic manner. And you know what? It's easier to let go of your feelings if you get rejected. It's easier on the heart. Personal experience, if you confess over chat, it's really, oh my god. If you confess over chat, it's easier to let go of your feelings. It's easier to move on. And for me, I'm a very practical, pragmatic person. So that's why I prefer chat. Thank you. But like, if you want to do personal confession, no worries, ha? If anyone's listening, I'm free. Just hit me up at 4th floor law building. Joke.
I think Red has something to say. Oh, Anika, okay, go.
Oh no. I was referring to Jay. Like hit us up at 4th floor law building. Thank you so much, guys.
Okay, Rad has something to say.
Hello. So I agree with Jay when it comes to confessing online just to ease that feeling, no? Pero maybe it's just my personal opinion, no? Face to face talaga, in person talaga. Kasi I don't know with you guys, but when it's really different when you see that person in a screen and in person. Like, there are some people who would think nga, why are you so... Kaya nga, di ba? Meron nga, kaya nga na-shock tayo kasi when we were online, akala natin matangkad yung person, yun pala, hindi. Or akala natin, baka sa camera lang pala yan, di ba? So, I still believe that physical confession or personal confession is better than online or screen confession. Yun lang.
Isn't it like it really depends on which end you're at? Like, of course, if you're at the receiving end, then you'd prefer it's going to be face-to-face or physical. Okay, you can see the genuinity. And of course, who wouldn't like a public gesture receiving certain material things? But if you're on the confessing end, then there's a lot of pressure on you. Okay, if it goes wrong, and I pray to God that it doesn't, you get rejected, and then the humiliation in public. Yeah, so that's the thing about face-to-face. So it really depends on which side are you at. Are you the receiver or are you the one who's going to confess? Yun lang for me.
Yeah, sure. Go, Marco.
Though all of the answers given were completely correct, I think in a way we can just mix it na lang bitaw. Like, think of it as like confessing to someone online is a precursor to your meetup. Kana bitaw. Okay, we all know that the online setup, as what Brad mentioned, has drastically changed the way people communicate. So it's not like one can be. Why choose a side, diba? Why not utilize both ends? Why not text the person and text the person as a precursor, then meet with them afterwards? Because if they reply via text, then yay, that's a G, alright? So someone's like, okay, I like you too. So you know that there can be there's potential there, and when you guys meet face to face, it's like somehow a reassurance. Like, oh, so this is the person in real life. Do I like their energy with me? Do I like how they compose themselves? How are they with manners? How are they with interacting with other people? Are they polite? Do they have the same morals as I do? Because sometimes chatting people is a bit shallow, and sometimes meeting people in face to face is a bit of a show, because we know that dating people would always entail the other end, and you yourself to put your best foot forward. So take your chances, utilize what you've got, and take all the chances to know the person, because I think like one side is not better than the other. It's a matter of utilizing all of your resources, because at the end of the day, your goal is to know the person, if they're a potential partner or not.
Yeah, and I guess that's also the purpose why there's a situationship. Like, you're testing the waters. If you guys are compatible enough, you guys have enough feelings to be committed, kaya you're just trial phase ang situationship before you proceed to being in a committed relationship.
As in, inato di ay ang situationship.
But ang situationship is like, would you like to continue your subscription? No.
Free trial.
Then what's your answer if you want to continue?
Then you proceed with committed relationship. If not, then you don't know what's going to happen next.
Paid subscription pa yan.
At least.
Diba, continue sila subscription kayo, mag-move in sila sa same unit.
No, it's like situationship premium
With added benefits.
with added benefits.
Added
When
bills pa, Jud.
Kana, parang na siya, consistency na dyan, na siya consistent in yung bills, consistent in yung liabilities. If you're referring to like investments and all that, the way you see like going to a relationship isn't like what do you call this? Isn't only like completing yourself, because I like how other people see a relationship as like finding your other half, you know, the other person is like my soulmate, this person's gonna complete me, when in fact I think a relationship would be something that should support you. So like, you find a person who's there for you, who's committed to you, you know. It's like being in love in general, it's both a selfish and a selfless act, you know what I'm saying? A selfish and a selfless act. You're selfish because you want to be in love with someone, because you want to grow with that person, you know, because you know you invest your time because you know that person could be someone who will make you a better version of yourself. And at the same time, it's such a selfless act because you're doing something beyond yourself for another person. And it's so poetic how love is both this contradicting selfless and selfish act. I'm sorry, wow, I'm mumbling. But yeah, it's very weird how this is where the art of love comes in, how this contradiction comes to play, how you're both selfish, how you want to grow as a person, and selfless, how you want to be there for someone else. And kana siya, I guess in this case nga, if you're investing yourself, then I think it doesn't matter nga if you guys didn't go out in the end. Assess yourself. Am I a better person because of that relationship, or did I find something bad or good about myself? Yeah, I agree with everyone else's messages. Like the person could be someone there. That experience was a learning experience for me to see myself at a different perspective.
Listening to Marcus' advice makes me miss being in love. Oh my God, why Anika?
Lily, oy, because like the way like he sums up everything, like that love is supposed to make you feel like you're in cloud nine and all that. You feel.
Hi, applications are still open for.
Yeah. Applications are still open. Kaya guys, do your best because Marco will love you harder.
Wow!
Yeah, ayan. Coming from him, yung mga advices niya, I'm totally sure. And we're 100% sure na he will really take care and love you.
Lord, di mo gusto maging masaya, Lord? Ano ba?
Capricorn.
To our dear listeners, I hope that you guys have learned a thing or two from this episode and realized that there is such a thing as situationship. If you've ever been in a situationship or currently in one, decide now what's best for you and for the both of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Watch out for the third and last episode. Is it going to be a happy or a sad ending? Don't forget to follow us to be updated. This is 𝘠𝘩𝘢𝘵𝘐 signing off.